Coach, obviously you always want to win, but is the team kind of keeping this bowl streak alive personally?
Yeah, it's important to us. It's important to our players. It's important to our fan base. It's important to the teams that came before us that we keep it going. And we talked about it as a team, and our guys understand what's at stake. It's important for our seniors to leave here and not be that senior class that didn't go to a bowl game. So it's important for a lot of reasons, and we need to approach it that way in everything we're doing. The way we, whether going to class, going to practice, and meetings, or whatever we're doing, there's a lot of people counting on us.
Go to Aslan back.
To the point about the bowl streak, you and the players have both mentioned that there's been, some of the problems you guys have had on Saturdays have been because you've been trying too hard. You guys want things so badly to happen. And with this bowl streak being so important to the program, to these players, how do you kind of balance them wanting to push for this, but also maybe not to overstrain or overexert?
Well, again, I want our guys to want to win. I mean, 'cause we all do. We just got to channel those things in the right direction and how we win, and go out and play how winning teams play. And we're going to have to do it in order to win these games. Our guys know the issues that we're having, and we got to correct them. And I say we, coaches and players, got to correct all the things that we're doing to ourselves to cause us not to be in these ball games or win these ball games. And we got to find answers. We got to correct those things immediately if we're going to win these 2 ball games and get the things, those goals that we say we want in front of us. That's got to happen.
Different coaching staff, obviously, but last year the team had to win the last 3 games in a similar situation. Just what do you think they can kind of channel from that, and what do you do coaching staff? I mean, how can you kind of set them up for success in that situation?
Well, I think it's really important. It's going to be key for us as coaches to put our guys in the best position to win these games. I think we have a resilient bunch and a group of guys that's played here last year when our backs was against the wall and had to win those games. So I think having those guys here, they can help the young guys out. It also allowed those guys to believe that they can get it done and not sit back and think that it can't happen. They believe and know that they can get it done. And like I say, as coaches, we got to make sure we put them in the best position and let them play football and throughout the week and not confuse them or anything, but let them play.
You mentioned execution's another thing that's keeping you guys back. From watching film maybe against Virginia Tech up until this point, is there a certain position segment you think that is executing better from week 1 to now?
I think the problem is we don't have enough consistent execution overall. You look at us offensively, one week a certain group is playing well and the other group is not playing well. We got to get it to where all of our groups are offensive line, tight ends, receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, we all playing as one and playing consistently enough so we can get the performance that we want. I think that's what I mean by not executing it is doing it consistently enough. 1 week is this group, 1 week is that group. It needs to be them all at once where they all play together so we can get the results that we want.
We'll go to Corey on the left side.
Well, I think it was about 100 yards rushing, but it seemed like Cam might have had one of his better games of the season. And overall, the running game with the 2 running backs seemed to do better. Any positives from that, even in a lopsided loss?
It is positive, and because we focused on it last week and we got some positive results behind the emphasis that we put on. We cut down on how much we were trying to do in the run game and let our offensive line focus on certain things that they need to help those guys be successful. And I thought our backs did a great job of being patient, and I think that allowed them to get some of the runs that they got in the game is them being patient and allowing the blocks to happen. We probably would have seen more out of our running game if we weren't so far behind. We got so far behind early that we weren't able to do some of the things that we wanted to from that standpoint. And so I was happy with what our guys, the improvement that our guys made in the run game. Again, we got to play better early so we can show more improvement in what we're doing.
Willie, you guys started out the season really good defensively, especially against the run. I think you guys were top 10 at one point. That's obviously fallen off the last couple of weeks. Notre Dame had over 300 yards. Is there something going on schematically, or teams doing stuff differently? Why are you guys struggling to stop the run now?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with it. I think scheme-wise, we got to be better and adjust better. I think a lot of it has to do with run fits and when you're in your gap, dominating your gaps, and that comes down to individual play. And then a big part of it is tackling. We got to tackle better. We're not tackling well as a team, and we got to gain tackle and stop people and get them down. But I think a lot of it with fits, and you're getting these explosive runs off of us. Early in the year, we wasn't giving away explosive run, and we have been here lately. And we as coaching staff got to figure out again how we can simplify some things to allow our guys to be able to line up. And that's another thing is we got to be able to line up first and foremost. We can't be late with play call in and our team going fast and snap the ball on us. I think it starts there. But simplifying some things so they can line up and just play football like I say, we know they're capable of doing, and they've shown that they can do it. We got to help them.
Go back to the right first, Sean.
Coach, speaking of defense, Boston College has had a pretty potent offense behind A.J. Dillon and Anthony Brown. What have you seen from those two in particular?
They're big-time athletes. Dillon's a big running back, and Brown is an athletic quarterback that understand what they're trying to do within their offense. He's played to his strength, and they're a physical football team, and with a veteran O-line that does a great job of being physical and creating running room for both of those guys to run. But you can see a team that's been in their system for a while, and they understand it well, and they're well coached, and they play the brand of football they want to, and they do it with attitude in every aspect, running back, quarterback, O-line. It's a physical mentality, but they're both big-time football players.
Go to Wayne.
Coach, obviously you weren't here, but last year A.J. Dillon ran for about 150 yards, and the Boston College offensive line just physically dominated the Florida State defensive line. How do you prepare your guys for that physicality that the Boston College offensive line is going to show? Well,
I think that's our guys see it. They watch the same film. That's a want to. You got to come out, and it's a want to. Going in it's going to be a physical ball game. You can't bow down to that physicality. You got to face physicality with physicality. That's football. And again, we want to be known for the same thing. And but you got to face it with the same mentality of going in, being physical and getting after the guy in front of you. And it's a challenge for our guys this week, and they know it. And some of our guys played against these guys last year, so they understand what they're doing too. But they also understand what we can't do if we want to be a lot better than what we were.
Corey.
Willie, this is your first year of the program. When do you know, can you know when things start to turn around? Is it more than just results on the field? Because obviously the results aren't coming right now, but when do you know as a head coach, all right, we're starting an uptick? What are you looking for specifically?
Well, I think before you can win on the field, you got to win off the field, and I see a lot of things that we're doing well off the football field, whether it's practice, whether it's classroom, the discipline of what we're doing. You see those things start to change. You know from a football standpoint that these young men know how to play football. It's just some of the other things keep them from being really good at what they're doing on the football field. And when you can get those things in order, then the results on the field starts to happen. It's like for me personally, in watching our team, and every week I stand up here and tell you guys, and every week we go, I feel really good about our football team going into the game and our chances of winning. The frustrating part is that they're not showing what they're capable of doing on Saturday, and we got to help them as coaches however we can. We got to keep trying to find a way so they can go do that. I told you before, I love this team, and I believe in us, and I believe we can win every ball game, but we can't win them doing the things that we've been doing, especially against really good football team. So I think it can happen at any time. That's how, I mean, because of how our guys, our attitude, the way we practice, the way we do things, it's just, we got to do it on Saturday. We got to do it under the spotlight, when it counts, So I'm confident this week, but we got to play a lot better.
Willie, how did DeAndre fare when you went back and looked at the film on Saturday night?
I thought he played well. I thought he saw the field well. He had a couple of throws I know he probably would have wished he had back, but I thought the drop passes really took away from some of the things he was doing in our offense, and any quarterback wanting to get in rhythm, you can't have those drop passes, but I thought he did well. I thought his movement in the pocket was a lot better. He wasn't sitting back like he had been earlier in the year, and I think we only gave up like 1 sack in the game, but I thought he played well other than a couple of throws he would have asked to have back.
Assuming he stays healthy, will he be your starter going the rest of the way?
Yeah, unless something dramatic happened. Again, I don't see no reason for him not to be our starter right now. DeAndre is not the issue with our football team. There's a lot of other issues. He can't block for himself. He can't go and catch the ball. He can't play special team. He can't tackle. He's not the issue with our football team. And if DeAndre was an issue, then we would do something about it. So yes, he's our quarterback.
Brendan over here, front left.
Willie, kind of piggybacking off of Corey's question earlier, looking for growth and signs of improvement, I guess what have you seen from the start of the year that you can kind of take away as positives to look at to build on moving forward?
Well, I see a lot of the young guys that stepping up and making plays for us is positive. You look at Terry and what he's done for us, DJ Matthews and some things he's done for us. But that's positive when a lot of those young guys are stepping up and making plays. You're seeing some young linemen that probably not necessarily ready to play right now, but they're getting valuable experience and getting a little better each week. Just again, in certain areas we're better, and others that we're just not there yet.
And was Brady Scott available for the game, or was that just a personnel decision?
Yeah, it was just more of a personnel decision, and again, we're evaluating guys throughout practice and want to make sure we got the guys that's going to give us the best chance to win that week and have a good practice and understanding what we're doing and trying to move the ball and create some things offensively.
Well, in a way, can Boston College almost be sort of an example of what you're talking about a minute ago as far as, building up and making that kind of progress? They went through some tough times, but Coach Adazio has been building up for a few years, and now they're kind of showing that.
Well, I think not only Boston College, but you look at all of our teams in the ACC. A lot of these guys just didn't start, and everything just clicked for them. You look at Coach Sweeney and what Clemson was like, and he built that to where it is today. Seeing like you say, Coach Adazio at Boston College, what they're doing. You look at what Coach Babers doing at Syracuse. You see it throughout the league, but they didn't just come in and just get it, but you look at a lot of these teams too. There's a lot of veteran guys on the football team that played a lot of football together, and that helps as well. So again, we'll get there, and we want to get there. We like to get there now, and unfortunately, it's not the way we want it. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep working, and we're going to get this program to where we all want it to be. I can promise you that.
You mentioned earlier simplifying things for the offensive line, help the run game get better, maybe try to simplify some things on defense to get better there. Was there a certain point this year where you thought they were ready, both those segments, to take more responsibility and play a little more complex sort of schemes or what have you?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we had everybody, especially up front when we had our guys starting off. We felt we could run everything, but as the year went on and the injuries happened, especially up front on the offense side of the ball, some things had to change for us. And then same thing on defense side of the ball. I think overall you always got to look at those things, and as the season go on, some things happen that you got to change up some things. But you always got to evaluate and think, doing what's best for our players, not necessarily scheme-wise, but what's best for our players and put them in the best position to make plays and give them a chance.
Go back to Kurt, front right.
How hopeful are you some of the guys who were out this last week, you might have them back this weekend?
You like to always have your guys, but we're going to go with the guys that's ready to roll. If they're healthy, we're going to roll and go, and hopefully some guys can get back and be ready to play. And if they're not back, we're going to play the ones that's that's ready to roll.
Sharp.
In particular for the freshmen and then the sophomores who were here last year, how do you kind of keep guys from getting too down about losing and maybe getting used to losing and complacent and not focusing on the present necessarily and kind of looking forward to things getting better going forward?
Well, I think with our team, what's helped us so far is our guys are being real with themselves too. I think everybody's being real with themselves and what we can do better to help, and I think that's helping those guys stay focused and locked into what we're trying to get accomplished. Because I think every last one of them are frustrated too that we're not getting it done. But when you turn on the film, you see there's a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and when you can be real with yourself when that happens, then there's no reason to get upset or down or pout or feel like getting used to losing. It's not. We got to get used to doing things the right way and get used to making big plays on the field. And rather than looking at it in a negative way, we got to look at it a positive way and go out and make it happen. And I don't think any of those guys feel that way. I think they're coming with the right attitude and they want to work and they want to get it done for us.
We've got time for a couple more. Gene?
Coach, I think Landon made the trip with you up to South Bend. Is there any chance you're going to get him back in practice this week?
I don't think so. I don't think Landon will be back in practice this week.
Is he probably, with only a couple games, is he probably out at least for the regular season?
Say that one more time.
Well, is he probably out for the regular season then at this point?
As of right now, I just don't see him getting back right now. I mean, he hadn't practiced the last few weeks and all, and still get himself healthy.
Corey?
It looked like Hamps only played 2 or 3 plays. Is he okay?
Yeah, he hurt his knee in the North Carolina State game, and was getting himself healthy. Had a good week of practice, and I think like third play of the game or something, he banged his knee again in that game, and he just couldn't go back out and be effective for us.
Going back to how you've built other places, is Florida State different than a South Florida or Western Kentucky when you're talking about the athletes you're trying to convince, hey, this is part of the process? Because they didn't come here to lose, obviously. You didn't come here to lose. How do you convince them, man, this is going in the right direction? We are going to turn this thing around.
Like I say, our guys are, first of all, our guys, you convince them by not allowing them to read and hear all the things outside. Just, again, you got to be real with yourself and see what's going on inside, you know. And I think that's why our guys are coming each week ready to practice and play. Our guys, and jobs before when turning around like that, it hadn't been that way, you know. But our guys are, so I will say it is different because our guys are still working their tails off and trying to get it done. And they see it and they know we can be so much better. So I don't see anybody feeling that negative. It's easier to do that, you know, but I don't see anybody doing that here. And so I would say it's different from those places. And I think because taking over those places, the circumstances was different too, you know. So there's a lot of different reasons, and each jobs are different, you know. But yeah, Florida State's different. It's Florida State, you know, and South Florida is Western Kentucky, and I don't think any of those players at those schools either came to those schools to lose. All of them want to win. You know, it's so important. We got a young football team, and it's important that we as coaches teach them how to win again. It's those little things that we're talking about. That's a daily thing that you're always working on to get it that way, and you can't stop doing those things. We got to keep working on them, and eventually it'll turn. And like I said earlier, I know it's going to turn, and I know it's frustrating for everyone. And trust me, our guys are frustrated too. But we're going to get there.